Hi, buddies. Welcome to CETV Exclusives. This is our last interview of the month of July, and they saved the best for last for this one. She is the first Filipino American to win Miss Earth USA. And I can tell that introduction, you know who I'm talking to. I'm talking about Bea Millan-Windorski of Wisconsin.
Oh, maraming salamat po for having me.
Walang anuman. And also, before we move on, I just wanted to ask, did you bring any cheese with you?
Honey.
Yes,
Oh,
Wisconsin's known for that cheese, you know.
oh, cheese. Yes, I really one of my favorite foods ever, but I've been trying to cut it out in preparation for the pageant because I'm lactose intolerant, so I always get kind of bloated afterward. But I had cheese today, so clearly it's not working out well.
Yeah, cheese. Yeah. Wisconsin's known for those cheeses, and then it is also known for the Harley Davidson, based on my research. But
Yeah,
hope,
my hometown Milwaukee is where Harley Davidson is based. And then on the cheese note too, funnily enough, my dad actually grew up on a dairy farm. So we do have some connection to cows and everything.
yes, lots of cows. It, I hope you didn't. Hope you're not one of that girl who grew up in the farm.
No, no. But I did grow up, my Lola actually grew up on a farm, so we still visit sometimes. I've scooped water buffalo poop before, so I'm used to that kind of lifestyle as well.
I hope Alice does not see this. Sorry, Alice. We're trying to poke fun at the issue, okay? If we're trying to be political, we apologize in advance. It's okay. It's for Mother Earth and naman, di ba?
The
Anyways,
poop
you
is
mentioned,
great for fertilizer though.
yeah, indeed. So before we started the interview earlier, we you mentioned a while ago that you spent most of your childhood in Wisconsin and not in the Philippines, correct?
Yeah, I've only been able to visit the Philippines every couple years when I'm visiting my Lola and my extended family who still lives there. But it's always been a wonderful experience. My Lola currently lives in San Juan, La Union, so I was able to experience the beaches in the Philippines, but I also still have family that lives in Nueva Vizcaya in the mountains. So I've also seen that part of the Philippines. However, I'm really excited to explore more parts. I've never been to the South and Davao, and I want to really explore Manila more too.
And you will once you go to the Miss Philippines Miss Earth pageant happening in the Philippines very soon. Just want to put it at that. I don't know where they're going to
Yes,
be
I'm
held,
very excited.
but I'm really looking forward to if it's going to held in Bukidnon again because you know Bukidnon did a great job in hosting the Miss Earth Philippines Earth pageant. Let's just commend Bukidnon LGU or local government unit for that. Let's give it a round of applause. Thank you very much to the people in Bukidnon. I just hope that we get a lot of love too in here in Cavite. If you visit Cavite too, which sometimes most Miss Earth delegates do, I can tell you that they might
Sana
visit
all.
Cavite too, like my home base. You're welcome here. Just letting you know that. Anyway,
What's your favorite thing to do in Cavite?
it is my home base, and I just love the I can't think of a better place than going to your roots. I just like visiting the place, like going to those malls that are huge, and especially going to nature and do some morning breeding and all that in Novaleta.
Mhm.
You can find that. It's beautiful, even though
Looking forward to it.
let's just say that the view is ruined by that little bridge that you see in Noveleta where they're constructing a little thing here, but it's okay. That's it's all for the betterment of our city and of our province,
Mhm.
rather. Moving right along to our question. So we heard that you were a winner of a Filipino American Youth Political Leadership Award, which was issued by the Philippine Embassy as well. So can you tell us more about that award and as well as your other awards for us, please?
Yeah, so throughout university, I was really interested in using the opportunity to reconnect with my Filipino heritage. I'm very lucky at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We have an amazing Southeast Asian Studies department. So I was able to learn Tagalog throughout all 4 years of undergrad, despite not really growing up around the language. And this award was granted to young leaders on college campuses across the US in recognition of the work they've done, leading both the Phil-Am community and being involved in the political space. So I was able to, through that award, intern in Washington, D.C., where I both learned more about embassy relations at the Philippine Embassy. And I also interned at the East West Center in Washington, D.C., where I conducted research on US ASEAN relations. I'm so happy that I had that experience because I have aspirations to one day be a diplomat and work for the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. It was all around an amazing experience, and I was able to really reconnect with the Filipino American community from all across the US.
Yes, I'm so glad that you connected your Filipino heritage and very appropriately enough, I just wanted to ask, Miss Philippines Earth's theme or the theme for the year was heritage. Yes, and it was I think it was destiny. I think heritage will be the theme for this year's Miss Earth as well. I'm not sure, but I'm positive that you're lucky that you are part of this organization. I can tell you that right now. So,
Yes,
your
I feel so lucky.
go ahead,
Yeah.
continue.
Oh, I was just wanted to elaborate that I feel really lucky that Miss Earth and Carousel Productions is highlighting heritage because I'm both the daughter of a Filipina immigrant and the daughter of a Polish American whose family has been here for generations. And having that diverse perspective in my heritage growing up has really made me well acquainted to different situations, different people.
Yes, I hope that it is a good thing to see that. Kudos to them again. All right. Since your advocacy is about educating others on the struggles of displaced people around the world and promote the importance of adapting international to the ongoing climate crisis. Can you tell me what are the struggles you face and how you have managed to overcome these struggles?
I grew up in a predominantly white area where not many people were of Asian descent. So oftentimes I felt like I was kind of out of place. However, I really felt community when I started tutoring refugee students who were coming from Myanmar, from other places like Honduras, who were losing their homes, not only due to political violence, but also the impacts of climate change, like rising sea levels, prolonged droughts. And through their tenacity, I realized that if I am only facing struggles because I feel out of place, then what are they going through? So they really pushed me to be the best version of myself, to realize that I can overcome any struggle just like they have. A lot of the students I tutored went on to be the valedictorian or salutatorian of their high school, went on to go to university. So if they're able to overcome those struggles, then I'm able to overcome mine. And I found a sense of community in embracing diversity, embracing differences, and really building, coming together to overcome any challenge that comes across us.
And always remember this, being unique is good and it's okay too, because you are you. You can do anything that you want to do, as Steve would say from Blue's Clues. Childhood represent.
Woo! And there's also now a Phil-Am Steve. So seeing more representation
Josh.
across the media has been really inspirational. Oh, his name is Josh. My bad.
Yes, Josh. Yes. It's for Blue's Clues and you. Too bad it didn't get renewed. Let's just put it at that. I just love saying that I didn't mention in the other interview we did with the girl group that you can do anything that you want to do. I so didn't. I was disappointed at myself. I didn't mention that. Anyway, you mentioned in the bio that I researched earlier before the show that you like playing board games with your friends. So, can you tell me your top three board games that you are most likely to win? And what are some tips and strategies that you would like to share to our buddies who like to play those games?
I don't know if this necessarily counts as a board game because it's kind of an online situation, but I really like Quiplash because it's a way you can kind of make fun of your friends and have fun together. And something that comes in handy for winning Quiplash is having a really great sense of humor. That's something I try to bring into my pageant preparation, never taking myself too seriously and always kind of giggling at my mistakes. At Miss Earth USA, I completely slipped during swimsuit prelims, but it was all about the recovery, and me and my friends still make jokes about it to this day. I also really enjoy playing Dungeons and Dragons because it's an imagination based game. So, really, the world is your oyster. You can come up with different campaigns that are really fantastical. And then, obviously, I love the classic Monopoly. I'm a pretty competitive person, even when it comes to like silly stuff like board games. So, really, it comes out when I play with my friends and family sometimes.
Yes, and you mentioned about Quiplash. Yes, from the Jackbox Party Pack. I know that game. Oh, now we know some strategies I can play when it comes to this.
Mhm.
I just love playing that
Definitely.
game sometimes, and I never seem to win, even though you can say whatever you want, but please don't be offensive. That's another strategy. Don't be
Mhm.
too offensive because you might
It's
be,
a fine line, always being humorous but never being mean.
yes, yes, indeed. So, considering that you studied political science right now, you're studying political science, right? So, we have this little thing that if after you graduate from political science, some may go to politics. After your reign as Miss Earth USA is over, do you plan to become a politician soon?
Yeah, so I majored in history, international relations, and political science, and I actually just graduated this past May. After my reign as Miss Earth USA, I don't necessarily want to be a politician. I want to be a humanitarian. I want to continue my work regarding climate refugee rights and continue to raise awareness of how we need to expand current international definitions of who qualifies as a refugee to include individuals displaced by climate change. Additionally, I want to work within the US to introduce a climate refugee visa. Currently, in our Congress, there's a bill being introduced about the need to acknowledge that climate refugees exist, and it would provide for an additional 10,000 climate refugee visas. I think it's my life's mission to really push for this bill to become law. So individuals who have lost their homes due to rising sea levels, due to intensified natural disasters, can find safety and asylum in the United States.
Yes, indeed. USA, a lot of people are living the American dream, but do you think it has a price to it? It is expensive, as some people would say.
Definitely. I think it's really necessary that countries in the global north, like the United States, reassess how much we consume because the brunt of climate change is impacting the global south. It's impacting countries that don't have the technologies to adapt to climate change. So it's necessary that we cut back on our consumption. And I try to live that every day by thrifting clothes instead of buying them new, renting clothes, really considering, am I going to use this plastic object once or is it going to be something I'll use for a lifetime? I think in the US, it's important we adopt more of a degrowth mindset, more of a sustainability mindset, rather than just pushing for exponential economic growth without any consideration of how it impacts our planet or other people.
And especially you need to upcycle at this point because we learned that from last night's Beanie Beanie, one of the commercials that aired. They were featuring like a upcycling thing. And remember, it's a good thing to upcycle from old plastics. And remember, as Gloria Diaz would say back in 2019, we're full of plastics. Even in real life, too.
Definitely.
E- Regardless if you're a person or anyone, we're all, everyone, everywhere you go, we're full of plastics. True that. Anyways,
Yeah,
so
unfortunately, microplastics are such a huge issue that's deeply impacting our health. So it's necessary to understand what materials certain things are made of because the plastics industry is trying to make plastics look less and less like how we know them. So that's how the prevalence of polyesters and plastic-based fabrics has really become prominent in a lot of our clothing, and even in a lot of our food packaging. It's really deeply impacting the health of us and our future generations.
and I think a certain application is doing quite well with that because Canva, one of our, is doing the right thing to do when the sustainable packaging, when I got my business cards. Look at the packaging for that. Let me get it here. Oh, no, I can't. I can't. I'm doing an interview. I don't want to get in trouble again. But you can imagine, visualize it. It's like a carton box that has some designs in it, and it's sustainable. You can do whatever you want with it. I think it's a
That's amazing.
first step in the right direction. Let's just put it at that. Now,
Definitely.
last earlier this year, or technically New Year's Eve, just 10 days after the coronation of last year's Miss Earth that happened, you were crowned as Miss Earth USA. What was the first thing that came to your mind, when you won the crown in, I believe, Florida? Am I correct?
Yes, it was in Florida. And in all honesty, I was in complete shock because my goal going into that pageant was to make the top 20 or the top 15, simply to raise awareness of the climate refugee crisis. I was approaching the competition more as an opportunity to expand my platform rather than going in to win. But I think that speaks volumes to how much of a process pageantry is. It's all about competing against yourself and becoming the best version of yourself. I was really lucky to work with an incredibly supportive team that believed in me almost more than I believed in myself. So I've been having a mindset shift going into the international competition, while I still want to adopt that same mindset of not competing with any other woman but myself. I still want to take my preparation very seriously and believe in myself as much as my team around me does.
Yes, I agree because the best competition is yourself. Do not think about others, and just focus on yourself, and everything will come into fruition. That's all I can say right now. And let me just put it on that note, because it will be held in the Philippines soon, based on what news that I received from the people at Carousel. What will we expect from you once you step foot in the Philippines? Will you visit La Union? Will you visit where you grew up with again while in the competition, if possible? Maybe?
There's a lot of moving parts right now, but I definitely know I want to stay in Manila for a few days to do some more pastorela training. It's that on-stage component that I've struggled a lot with because I grew up doing public speaking. I was the captain of my debate team, so I feel quite comfortable with the interview and on-stage Q&A. However, it's really finding that confidence to perform well on stage and give that full pastorela performance. However, something I do want to do if I have time is visit San Juan Loñon because my Lola's house is right next to Project Perma, which is a turtle sanctuary. They make sure that endangered turtle species can hatch safely and make it to the sea in order to repopulate these endangered species. I grew up doing some volunteer work with them, and it would be truly an amazing full circle experience to volunteer with them again right before Miss Earth.
Yes, I hope you would get that opportunity too. So, And on that note, we're going to ask you some very familiar pageant questions. These questions were asked before your time at that you joined Miss Earth or USA. Now you're not have 30 seconds to answer the question, and once you hear the chime, time is up. No, we don't have that. But please don't take too long. That's all I can say right now. These are some very familiar questions that I think that started it all. Let's start off with this one, the very first one from 2001, appropriately enough, the year you were born. And by the way, before we move on, I just want to congratulate you on graduating last May. I forgot to do that earlier.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, let's hope you can take this. Let's now ask these very familiar pageant questions now. Here we go. From 2001 to the top four of Miss Earth 2001, that is, which was won by Katarina Svensson of Denmark. Technology makes life very convenient, but it is also being blamed for certain environmental problems. How do you propose to find a balance between technology and Earth preservation?
We need to be really realistic about which technologies have harmed our environments. And those technologies are namely fossil fuels. Fossil fuel emissions have led to the warming of our planet, and oil corporations have known for decades. That's why it's important we facilitate a just and clean energy transition through depending on electric vehicles, through increasing our solar and wind capabilities. We also must consider the just and fairness of this transition. It's largely the global south that will bear the brunt of cobalt mining, other necessary metals that are important to batteries. So it's important that all voices are at the table when we facilitate this transition from fossil fuels to renewables.
Okay, just before we're clear, you're not judged on anything. Just wanted to ask, how would you answer this in if you were, and just letting you know that. All right. If you were joined last year, this would have been the question at last year's Miss Earth, which was won by Drita Ziri of Albania. So close, Ilyana. An official at a recent climate conference was quoted as saying, "There is no sign behind calls, not coals, okay, for the phase out of fossil fuels." Do you agree with this? Why or why not?
I vehemently disagree with that assertion because if you look at the science, people will claim that the natural cycles of the earth have had warming and cooling. However, when you look at the introduction of coal and fossil fuels, that's where you see the exponential increase of warming of our planet. It's undeniable that human activities and the consumption of fossil fuels have led to this increase and have led to the impacts of rising sea levels, of intensified natural disasters. So it's necessary that we reassess, look at the science, and call out the corporations that have continued to peddle this lie.
Yes, indeed. Now we move right along to this next one. This one was asked to Miss Earth 2017 Karen Nabasco of the Philippines, appropriately enough. Who or what do you think is the enemy of Mother Nature?
The enemy is ignorance. I won't blame individuals for small actions that they might take in a day-to-day that contribute to the warming of our climate. However, it's important that we embrace science, embrace education to understand that human activities are inextricably linked with harming our planet. That's why we need education in our school system to make our children aware from a young age the importance of our environment, the importance of protecting nature, and the importance of facilitating that just clean energy transition. I believe it's through my generation and the next that we can really push for this change and make a brighter future.
Yes, and on that note, we're going to ask this one from Miss Earth, Philippines Earth 2024, which was won by Ira. I forgot her name, but basta taga Davao siya. Sorry for my Tagalog again. It's okay. You understand naman, di ba? Anyway,
Well, that's no
what
fault.
anyways, what have you learned in your journey at Miss Earth USA that you would like to share with the younger generation? I repeat, what have you learned in your journey as Miss Earth USA that you would like to share with the younger generation?
Being a representative of the entire United States, I've been forced to come to terms with my own prejudices that I hold against maybe rural communities, communities that have less access to the education and science surrounding what's causing climate change. And being Miss Earth USA, I've been really positioned to embrace empathy, understand that people come from all sorts of backgrounds, have all sorts of experiences that shape them into the person they are today. It's when we lead with empathy and understanding of other people and where they're coming from that we can truly affect change. Because if we see people for who they are and if we embrace their humanity, then that's how we can push for policy change. That's how we can push for a brighter future and understanding what our planet needs.
Yes, indeed. That is what we need to, as humans, to learn about the environment, because nowadays this environment is trying to become, I need to think here. This environment is changing and we need to adapt at all times, no matter what, accept and adjust. That's what my mom taught me, and I hope you will. We were enlightened by that. And on that note, we're gonna go to this final thing that we're going to do. If you're familiar with that Boya Bunda doing fast talk, it's like that, but you only have 60 seconds to answer these questions. Okay. So it's you in
Okay.
60 seconds. Okay. I hope you're ready, because the clock will not start until I finish reading the first question. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how confident are you that you will win the Miss Earth crown? Go!
I would say 8. I don't think I'm going to win the crown necessarily, but I feel like I've already won simply by being a delegate to the international competition.
Make it quick. No explanation needed. Name a beauty queen that you admire the most.
Catriona Gray.
Besides your own country, a country you would like to see holding hands with in the top 2.
Puerto Rico.
Hip hop or ballet?
Ballet.
Happiness or cheese?
Cheese.
The crown or a happy love life?
The crown.
Complete the sentence. I am Bea Millan-Windorski, and I am
A human rights activist.
Yeah. That's a good way to end it. I hope you will end it with strong. That's a great answer, by the way. Great answers, by the way. The ones that he didn't go through, I think it's important that Love Life will follow, and the crown, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You need to take advantage of it, and remember, do know you only wear the crown for a year, and make the most of it. For as long as you don't mess things up, as they say. Don't even think about resigning, please. We don't want another thing that happened in the other pageant.
My mom always jokes that I can't have a partner, like a boyfriend or girlfriend, until I finish my first advanced degree. So for me, that would be law school or a PhD.
Oh, that's good. Please, 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 please follow what your mother said, because mothers know best. Now, before we continue on, I'd heard that something is evolving in the Miss Earth USA pageant. Like, it's not gonna be like a sort of reality show in next year's excuse me. In next year's pageant, there will be a kind of like a reality format. Is that true? Can you explain to that?
Yeah, so similar to how Miss South Africa's program follows the contestants along on their journey to the crown, for Miss Earth USA next year, we will have prelims like we usually do in late December, early January. However, we'll select a top 15, and from there, we'll follow them around as they compete in different modeling and environmental challenges all around the US. And it'll really give them an opportunity to not only showcase their personality, but what their advocacies are. Because at the end of the day, the Miss Earth USA pageant is all about being beauties for a cause, using pageantry to raise awareness of different environmental issues. So in this more extended format, the candidates can really share what they're passionate about. And then from there, after 6 months, we'll have a finals night where we take into account the different challenges along with a finals performance. And then from there, we'll select our elemental court and our Miss Earth USA 2025.
And I'm looking forward to that. I hope the other guys at Carousel will do that soon. I don't think so, but hey, it's quite revolutionary for a Miss Earth to do that, and only Miss Earth usually can do that. So that's why I admire Laura Clark and the team for coming up with this idea. So thank you very much, Laura Clark, for giving us an opportunity to know the candidates in a extended format, as they say. So before we end this, I just want you to do this now. A sample of your introduction, like your name and your country, like something like that. Okay, that you'll represent. Like for example, something like that. I think you didn't do it in the USA in the nationals, right? You didn't do it. I think it's best for you to do it in live here. Your country, your name, and your country. Okay, go right ahead.
Magandang umaga po. I'm Bea Millan-Windorski representing USA.
There you go. Thank you very much, Bea Windorski. I hope you will be continuing to uphold the legacy of Beauties for a Cause, and I hope you will get the crown for the USA. The second one, I might add. The first one was with Lindsay, and I hope Catriona Gray will see this, and she'll be like, "Wow, someone actually admired you," and something like that. Anyways, my name's Don Banana. I've been your host today, and you've been watching CETV Exclusives. Have a good day, and as always, mabuhay!